Hello, everybody. This is Alexey Kavyazin, and together we, with Ed and Gregorio, will do the webinar devoted to the questions and answers about the Firebird 5 migration. As you probably know, we have made 3 videos about Hello, details everybody. Of migrations. This is Alexey Kavyazin, and together we, in the Gregorio, first video, we have reviewed the process, the fastest process, how to perform the migration to Firebird 5. And in the second video, we have reviewed the possible problems which possibly can arise during the migration. And in the third video, we have presented the approach how to resolve these problems, how to check the metadata of your database, how to monitor SQL queries which can become incompatible with Firebird 5, and some basic steps how to resolve these problems. Also, we have shown the typical errors during migration and some, let's say, pitfalls in terms of some problems, let's say, which are not obvious for the migration. So today we are going to answer the migrations. However, before we will start, I would like to address one issue which was sent to me by one of the users, actually, but by several users, which said to me that it was really difficult to migrate UDFs. So they use some UDFs, and these UDFs was, generated some errors when they were trying to configure Firebird 5 to work with UDFs from old versions, specifically FB UDF, the standard UDF, which was included into Firebird until Firebird 3, and also some popular UDFs like free ad hoc UDF and some others. So in order to work around this problem, we have made the following. We have created initially the zip of vanilla Firebird version, so just downloaded the Firebird from the website, and we have put there the Firebird configuration and necessary DLLs to work with these, UDFs, with old UDFs. So there is no rocket science inside, no magic, just, proper combination of several parameters and UDFs. So you can download it and use for your migration project. To speed up and resolve this small issue. Also, we will prepare the same version for Linux pretty soon, and also we will make it available and we'll put in some news maybe on Firebird SQL site or something like this. So this is the in general the what was done. And of course, if you have any questions regarding the migration, regarding the videos, so please feel free and send emails, questions to our emails. Like you see them on the screen. However, also if you have right now you have some question, so please don't hesitate, run it. Put it to the chat. We will read and answer the question. So we are. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. In order to prevent spam, we have put this limitation. So you need to click on the subscribe to channel, to SQL Firebird, and in 1 minute after that, it will be possible to send messages to chat. So please send your questions. I'm sure there are some questions because, of course, these videos were pretty full in terms of what to do to migrate. But of course, there are questions left, some practical tips and tricks which should be really necessary for the actual migration.
And if you have no questions, I think it's interesting to know where you're typing from, what's your name, so you can type this at the chat too.
Yes, just some bunch of information would be really, really good. It says to me that there is some problem with the translation.
Maybe our English is not so good.
Yes, probably. Okay, guys, so please do not hesitate. We are here exactly and with the only purpose to answer some questions. So please go ahead and tell us something.
Maybe if you are already subscribed, but the field of the sending chat is not enabled, maybe you can refresh the page and I think it's going to be solved.
Yes, just try to click F5. So Peter says that he can chat now. Okay. So thank you for notifying us that somebody is watching. I see that there are, like 12 people are watching, but so far no questions. Well, I think it's a good sign because the 5 migration became really easier comparing, for example, for migration from 1.5 to 2.5. It was really hard. And from 2.5, for example, for free to version 3, it was also not really easy because many changes in Firebird 3 was not so suitable. And now with these parameters of compatibility, like data type compatibility, it became much easier. Migration method. Can you talk a bit about dialect change as well? Yes, sure. So the Firebird 5 still supports the dialect 1, and Firebird 6, as far as I know, also will support dialect 1. So if you are locked with dialect 1 for some reason, definitely it will, you will have some time to change it. So at the moment with dialect 1, the biggest problem is when you have both dialect 1 and some identifiers with keywords, with new keywords. For example, with Boolean. And in this case, of course, you are in not so good position. Edson, what can you add? Some workarounds for dialect 1?
Yeah, for example, the problems I have already seen at the dialect one is that when you are going to the version 5, if you have some keywords like Alexei said, that you need to put it between double quotes. But the problem of double quotes at the dialect one, this is string. Uh, if you are putting some kind of text at between double quotes, you are saying to Firebird that this is a string, not a keyword. So you need to migrate to the dialect 3 because of this. And another thing I saw is that if you have double quotes, for example, double quotes, a text, double quotes, concatenating to another string or another field. But the concatenation at the version, any version with the dialect 1 can be done with the plus sign. And the plus sign is not able to concatenate at the dialect 3. And you have more things to prepare at your metadata because of this.
Yes. So Peter also asks, is there a list of the keywords I can access? Yes, exactly. And actually, in Firebird 5, there is a special virtual table which provides the keywords. It called RDB keywords. So you can run query like this. I will send it to the chat, where you will be able to see all keywords in Firebird 5, just to to see will it work or not work. But of course, if you will do the operation which we described in video number 3 with ISQL minus X and after that MySQL minus E, it will be just fine. If your metadata will be compiled, most likely, if you are not using it in something like domains in the parameter of storage procedures, it will be just fine. I hope I answered the question. If not, Peter, please clarify what else do you want to know about. Franz is written to us. Do you recommend to first change all reserved keywords in the database and code before migrating to the new dialect database version? Well, yes, I think that if you have enough time and you don't want to hurry up, yes, you can change all the keywords. However, if you are using the dialect 3 in 2.5, for example, you can use the workaround with the double quotes and uppercase for keywords, right, Edson?
Yes, it's totally possible. There are a lot of companies making the same process, putting double quotes and uppercase the word. And it's necessary to see this at the database metadata, PSQL codes, and also if you are making some query from your application which is calling some field called, for example, local, you will need to put also the table dot started double quotes, put your keyword, for example, local, and close double quotes, and then it's totally possible to continue using this keyword without need to change. But you need to remember to put it between double quotes because it's going to work well like this.
Okay, great. But so I think what the recommendation is just to start migration, because when you start, you will quickly figure out how much work do you need to either migrate and afterward change, or change all the things before the migration and do the subsequent migration after fixing the dialect and database dialect things. Because very often, developers are overestimating some efforts which are required to work with the old parts of the code. So because it's just a bit boring, and you are remembering that something was really difficult to do and so on, and psychologically, you are against the idea to fix something. And in this case, the easy trick will be to start migration, to see some quick results, see improvement of your queries, and after that, okay, so it really worth to dig into the old code and fix the dialect things. Yeah, we have also one kind of, not a question, but comment from CPY. Actually, I migrated some databases from 2.5 to 4. I was quite late to leave 2.5. Oh, no, you are not late at all. And the most cumbersome problem I had was to remove the dependencies from the internal functions left over from my from version 1. I mean, from internal functions, the idea of UDFs, right? And yes, of course, there is such idea, and of course, there is a big improvement in performance between UDF and SDF. So we have made tests quite a long time ago. So some intensive operations using some string functions to operate a lot of strings, I don't know, millions, to do some operations, testing. And with SDF, the functions which are running internally in Firebird. And the difference was like from 30% up to 3 times more faster. So if you are using intensively such UDFs, or also the good example, you are using the computed by indexes based on the UDFs, and there is already SDF internal function available in new versions of Firebird, it makes sense to change it, because it simply will be faster. And also you will get rid of this very boring to maintain dependence into the UDF files and so on. Okay, some Kandari, yes, it was UDFs. Good. The question, is there any tool, open source or commercial, to help migrate databases to UTF-8? Well, when you are speaking about the migration to the UTF-8, it actually means that you are speaking about the two things, some modifications in metadata and modifications of data. So first you need to change your metadata to be UTF. It can lead to various consequences. For example, because the UTF contains more characters for each symbol, and if you had really large varchar fields, it can lead to problems of indexes created for such fields. By large fields, I mean the following restrictions. So the index should really large, should be at least. Sorry, I don't remember the exact rule, but it is possible. So the first step is to change your metadata, and after that pump the data or migrate the data with UTF. So as far as I know, there is no such tool. There were some discussions inspired by some users who users wanted to do such thing, but it appeared that this tool will be really specific. And of course, in the next round of discussions, in the next round of planning, we can return to it, because at some moment, the dialect dialect things, these encoding things, they should be addressed and with some, really suitable tool. I don't know, will it be in Firebird 6 or I'm not speaking about the commercial versions, but in Firebird 6, I don't know, because there are already a lot of things scheduled for Firebird 6. But definitely this effort should be done, because as you can see, such facilitators, such things which facilitate migration, like data type compatibility, are really important for the end users, for the practical administrators and developers who are actually using Firebird in real environments. So I think that the good idea will be to raise this question again in Firebird Foundation groups, if you are a member of Foundation, and discuss the plan for the nearest future. Edson, can you comment something about it? So about you are also as of migration framework. Do you have any plans to maybe help with migration for UTF?
This is really a big problem. For example, when we talk about the UTF-8 or any other share set, because we do not have control of, for example, if one connection is using the UTF-8 or the other connection using the non-share set or Win 1252. For example, here in Brazil, it's very common to use any different char sets, not because it's right, it's not right, but a lot of people use, for example, in a development team, a lot of people use different char sets to manipulate some procedures, for example, or triggers. And then when we are trying to migrate, we are using just one common char set, for example, UTF-8. But reading these different procedures, which was saved like with different char sets, it's not easy. Usually we lose some kind of special char sets, at least here in Brazil, because we have some accents, we have some different ways to write it. So it's not so easy. Mm-hmm. And I think that about migrating of from one share set to another share set is not a easy job, because we don't have how to imagine what was the share set used to store something, even metadata and data.
Well, yes, but I think the question is not about is it easy or not easy? Of course, it's not easy, but the question that in order to build universal tool, it will require a lot of efforts, which probably will be really close to the manual transition, to manual transformation of the specific database in terms of time, price, and so on. Okay, there is some comment from Spe. I started writing something to copy data from one database to another, provided the destination schema in UTF-8. But at the rate I'm going to, I think it will be a while before I get something remotely useful. Well, yes, and so good luck with your efforts. I think it will be really interesting. Will you make it open source or will you make it commercial? I think we will certainly support your tool in Firebird.org, announcing it. And also we have a page called third-party software for such tools, both open source and commercial. So it is, it is really necessary. But when people start to think about such tool, as you are probably, you will see that the tool become close to the set of scripts, and the level of customization which will be required to simply run your tool will be really close to the level of customization for do the same thing with bunch of SQLs and pumping of data. Maybe I'm wrong, of course, but it's just my opinion. Another question. Hello, do you have any recommendation on how to set up tests useful during the migration and to verify that the migration was successful? Of course, we have such recommendations. So as we describe it in the video number 3, what you need is to use the pairs of isql -x to extract metadata and isql -i for the same script to create the fresh database using only the script. It is the part 1. And the second part, you need to use trace with parameter log errors, which will catch all errors from your applications. And in this case, even hidden errors. If you are using try catch, for example, you are not you are, but some developers who are accessing your database. With log errors, you will see all errors which occur on the level of Firebird. So please take a look on the video number 3. We have some details there. Edson, do you want to add something?
No, that's all. But the best way to test it is, and to know that your database is ready, is testing with your application. This is really the best way, and collecting logs. Because even if you are trying to run some query, for example, that you are used to run at another place, for example, iSQL, this is not the same result that your application is going to get. So same records for sure, but the components which are reading data is not the same. So best way really is at your application.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, very good, very reasonable questions. But we need more. So please, don't shy. Send us more questions. So we still have time to speak and to discuss. Oh, Peter is writing from version 2.5. Do you recommend passing version 3 and 4 before going to version 5? No. Until you really want to do a boring and unnecessary work, no. The recommended way to go from 2.5 is directly to Firebird 5, because Firebird 5 has everything like data type compatibility for 2.5 and other things, which make the transition from 2.5 to the 5 faster, easier, and of course more reasonable than transition to 3, 4, and so on. So just go to 5. I don't show. I remember there was an old song from Pet Shop Boys, Go West. So I will sing Go 5. Yep. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. And more questions, please. So I don't know, Edson, this is our experiment. So we announced that there is a season 1. And of course, we are already planning to record season 2 with season 3 and so on, devoted to the things like security, encryption, performance, transactions. So we have a big, long, list to create the series. They already call it like Firebird Essentials. But of course, we need support from users, because if nobody is interested to see videos and nobody is interested to see such webinars and ask questions, probably we need to find another format and concentrate on, for example, creating the books, and like the book which we recently published, detailed Firebird 5 features. It was announced on Firebird SQL, announced in the Substack Firebird Foundation, also announced it on the site of IB Surgeon or from QFS. So this book is in English. It contains 120 pages of detailed description of Firebird 5, what Firebird 5 offers. And it can serve as also as a kind of reference when you are looking at your query, and when you see why it is like 5 times faster, probably you don't have questions. But if you see some problem, you also could be interested to read explanations in detailed features about features like outer join and so on. And also, if you are looking and you are seeing some, new behavior, also this is really, useful to have book as a reference. And of course, I did not mention, but we have, and we are also actively promoting the free practical migration guide. It contains all information which we have for the migration. It is written, more like reference, and maybe that's why it is a bit boring. So there is no, fast path, no breadcrumbs how to do. And during this video, we, together with Edson, tried to create this, practical approach. Just open the door and go straight to the migration. It is not so scary as it looks when you are reading, 120 pages of detailed new features, 40 pages of practical migration guides, and you think, oh, it's too much information. Probably it will take months to migrate, but actually it is not. There is some direct path. Okay, so there is more questions. The format is excellent. Oh, thank you. Franz is asking, when changing dialects and Firebird versions, the data type changes have effects on software components? Right. Do you have a list of some components typically affected? Well, actually, we had experience with migrating BDE, right, Edson?
Yes. It was totally old, but
yes, Borland database engine. It started in 1992, 93. We are old, but it is old.
And it works.
Yes, it works. It works with Firebird 5. It is possible to migrate the application with Borland database engine to Firebird 5 using like FB client from 2.5, of course, compatibility mode, and so on. So back to the question, have effects on software components? Well, actually, not really. If you are making the data type compatibility, I think, it means that the Firebird will send data in the old format. There will be for the components, there will be no difference. They will receive standard timestamp, standard begin, standard, what else?
Alexei, I think there's only one point you need to pay attention, because at the dialect 1, if you are using the current date, this is going to show you, to give you date and time. Yes? It's going to give you a timestamp. It's going to be changed automatically when you change the dialect to the version 3. It's going to give you a timestamp name. So it's not a current date is going to deliver you date and time. Current date is going to give you date only. Current timestamp is going to give you date and time. And if you are using current date, you are used to receive date and time at your application, but it's going to give you only date after you migrate to the version dialect 3. So this is important to see.
Yes, of course. Yeah. If you are also migrating the dialect, of course it will, generate this problem. But if you are not changing the dialect, it will be the same, right?
Yes, yes, exactly the same.
Yes. But if we're speaking about the really old applications, closed source application, or applications which you don't want to migrate actually, because there is some piece of code, maybe not so big, it works. And if you make it run in the data type compatibility for Firebird 5 and receive improvement of performance and other features, which will open the road for the new versions of the software and so on. So just do it and do this migration improvement of your software when you are on Firebird 5, not on Firebird 2.5, and it will be just big help in terms of SQL syntax, a lot of new things, in terms of performance, general performance, and so on. So list of components typically affected. But actually you can, if we are speaking from 2.5, right, to 5, and data type compatibility, there is no components which will be affected. If it works for 2.5, if data type compatibility, it will work in the same way for 5, without any changes. Okay. So if you need more information, please just ask in the further questions. Now we have a bunch of questions from Rotenson. We got a closed source application that has official support for Firebird 3.0.5. Why only 5? Not really clear, but if you are using the 3.0, you can, with 99% of and more to migrate to 3.0.11 for sure. I managed to get it running with 5.0.1, but I'm unsure how to test all program features. Yes, so there is a really good question. If you manage to run it and you have some checklist, run the trace with parameter log errors true, and go through your application. You can ask users also to do it, and after that usually we recommend the following. So designate some pilot database which you can convert with some loyal users. If you are unsure that you have tested everything, run it and collect log with trace and see that there will be any errors, how to fix them, and so on. But in general, we have a large statistics. We have collected a lot of traces, and we have analyzed it and built trace reports, which shows us the number of the different SQL texts. And even if in really large applications with thousands of forms, there are not so many queries, not so many unique queries. And moreover, if we are looking at the plans which these queries perform, so it is even less. So in general, it means that the chance and the amount of work can be significant, of course, but it's adequate to perform. But if you are using the closed source application, of course, it's the first recommendation is too obvious to give it, is to contact vendor and ask why does he do not want to convert to Firebird 5. More questions. Are there recommendations for optimizing specific settings, memory management, cache, to maximize performance in Firebird 5? Well, yes. Of course, there is a configuration calculator for Firebird 5, which is available on the cc-ib8.com. I think. Let me copy it. Here. So where you can create the configuration. and use it for optimization. But don't forget to remove the buffers from the page size. There is not so, not so much which what you can do to optimize beyond this calculator without monitoring the system. Because just one example, if you have the profile of usage which requires a lot of long queries, like BI, some reporting, it means that, by the nature of the system, you can configure it in this way with, more memory, more cache. And just to, in this case, the key point will be the memory cache hit rate. But if you're using some application which frequently updates some table and there is a conflict, so it is not so important. And more important is some optimization of I/O, for example. But this configuration will give you a really good start. It's also a big topic, right? That's
Yes. A lot of places to take care.
Yes, so usually we require like 2 hours to explain, and we already planned it. Just some spoilers in some next seasons of Firebird Essentials. We will speak about the performance and configuration. But for now, if you will migrate from 2.5 and you will use the configuration from the calculator, it will help you a lot, because we made tests with the configurations from calculator, and in some scenarios it was like 4 times faster. Not sure if you have seen the video about Firebird 5 test results. Okay, more questions. But they kill me. Is there an easy way to test at least all the generators, triggers, and storage procedures? Well, for generators, you actually don't need to test generators. They will work for sure. It's, really simple thing to work. Triggers and storage procedures. If you have performed the recompilation, recreation with SQLX, XQSE, or with some tools, in most cases, it will work. After that, you need to run the application with tracing of errors. So it's not an easy way, but it's correct way. If I may warn about a potential problem if migrated to the new version, if you have aggregate column sum, then the result column will be the next size up. Numeric becomes backflow. Yeah, that's right, and that's why you need to use the trigger for on connect with bind. It is described in video 1, right? That's
I think so. The first video.
The reason for my previous question is the known problem we have with cache in 2.5, especially in virtual environments. Well, that the 2.5 it was a really good version, but it was 14 years ago. So just remember what was 14 years ago. It was 2010. I don't remember what was the popular song there. Probably Nickelback. But anyway, it was a lot of time ago, and when I saw about a year ago that more than 40% of users are still using 2.5, I decided that the transition from 2.5 to the newer version is the number one thing for Firebird to get back on track, because it is absolutely not possible to compare the things created with the technology of 2010 with the things created in technology 2024. It is much better, it is faster, and it's better. Phones, I'm not sure about cars, because cars are not getting better, unfortunately. The best one is Mercedes 124, still running at 2 million kilometers and still running. Maybe some Toyotas. But in terms of software, definitely there is improvements. And so just migrate and see. And when you arrive to this beta version, you will see much better results. And will be other questions for sure, but they will be easier to resolve than it was because the foundation is much stronger. Continuing, depending on your Delphi component set, this may be a problem since it depends on the data type it is mapping to the client application. That's right until you are not using the data type compatibility, but if you will use, the Firebird will map this data type for you, and you are using sum and something, sum, amount, count. It will map you to the normal data type of 2.5. Yes, and this, of course, can be solved easily. Yes. The next question, Peter is writing, are there plans for future releases, 5.6, that we should be aware of future-proof our database structure? Well, in 5.6, there will be, of course, new data types. Will be, I think, the support of JSON probably will be table spaces and some other improvements. But the big changes from 2.5 to which happened in 2.5 and 3 and after that in 4, there will be no such a huge changes. And if you will, follow the basic rules like create aliases, do not mix joins, better use the one only explicit joins. But of course, again, it is my opinion. You will be much better prepared. And also, of course, this thing which we recommended, recompilation, recreation of objects, also will help you to maintain your structure 100% compatible with Firebird. To do not use the old BLR to execute your old storage procedures. Do you want to add something?
No, I think that, for example, we know that the version 5 supports UDF, but we know that one day it's not going to support anymore. And then I think a good way to work is stop using UDF during the time, and then you can stop working with this and start working with native functions. And I think this is a good way to stay to keep calm with the next migration.
Okay, so there is a question from Jihad Khalifa. Are there any plans to improve working with disappeared?
Yeah,
but I have read it. The question was about the improvement of working Firebird over network. Well, actually, there was a really big improvement in the network protocol in Firebird 3. It was really, really good improvement. And now the only thing left to be improved to work with internet much faster is operation with blobs. The blob protocol is scheduled to be rewritten. Now people use workarounds like cast to varchar to work with blobs in the faster manner. But of course, the general blob network compatibility, network speed should be improved. But it's not a migration question. But anyway.
Alexei, somebody
yes.
sent an email saying that he's already subscribed, but he cannot write something here at the chat. I think maybe we can change some property of the transmission.
Interesting, but I think we have already put it to the public access, playlists, video. Looks like tags, United States, English. Well, maybe the good idea will be to restart the browser, or you can just send email. There is still time to answer. So please, if you will send email, please tell it. But meanwhile, we have some questions. Let's answer. Will there be the longer period of support of Firebird 5, and how long can we expect security updates and bug fixes? Because you already set your sites on version 6. No, actually, it's not like we set sites on version 6. As you know, the Firebird project supports 2 recent versions. But also, as you know, right now Firebird project supports 3 versions, version 3, 4, and 5. So version 3 is actively supported, maintained, and supported. So 2.5 now is the only main version which is not supported by the project. It is supported by the commercial entities like ABC Origin, but not by Firebird project. And I think that, of course, this support will depend on 2 practical things. The first is a percent of users which stays on free. Because as you know, with Firebird 2.5, we already had this bad problem that the modern Linux is not compatible. Oh, actually, some modern Linux has libpfred library, which is not compatible with the 2.5, with the old version. And that's why you cannot run 2.5 on Ubuntu 24 due to some occasional, crashes. Not because of Firebird, because of the incompatibility of behavior between these libraries. And but the Firebird project does not support 2.5 since I think 2019, and there is a problem to support so many versions with the lack of resources. Our development team is not so high, and also not all people are still Firebird Foundation members. Soon there will be annual general meeting, and we will announce some changes, some really good things to encourage people to bring more people to foundation and offer them not only support, but you are supporting the Firebird, but also some real advantages which will be really interesting. So please take a look on Firebird website to see them when they will be soon announced. And if we would have like spare developers to support, we would support 2.5 and maybe 2.0. But at the moment, we need to be concentrated on the new version, but also keep the balance. I think the Firebird 3 will be supported like during the next year. But when the first beta version of 6 will appear, probably we will start to drop the support of Firebird 3. It means that, for Firebird 5, from now on, it means like 6 years of support until version 7. So 6, 7. Usual time frame is like 2 years. But every time when we plan something happens, like pandemic, war. So better say that we will have for sure several years, more than 5 years of support for Firebird 5. And I think in the current situation, with it is really long-term support, because I think it is not correct for the open source project like Firebird support things which was released in the same time with the Microsoft. That Microsoft, for example, already dropped some support for old versions, but we are still supporting. This is like driving a Bentley without money on the bank account. So we cannot afford it, simply cannot afford it, and we should not pretend that we can afford supporting versions for 15 years. No, but 5 years, 6 years, it is for sure. Maybe even 7 years. I hope I answered the question. So don't worry about the Firebird 6. If when it will be released, first it comes through some cycles of support and so on, and it is no reason to delay until Firebird 6, because from 5 to 6 will be really easy jump. You see what from 4 to 5, almost nothing. But from 2.5 to 6, I don't know. It will be like a huge leap. I think it's not so many people will be able to do it. So go to Firebird 5. It is designed to be, long running and really good version. Are there any plans to improve working with Firebird over internet and high latency network? Yes, so I already answered it. So there is a plan to improve blob operations in the next versions of Firebird. At the moment, this is, it's a pain point, but in Firebird 3 it was improved. If you are on 2.5, please migrate to Firebird 5 and you will notice improvements. Is there a quick way to recompile all procedures and triggers in one go? Some script to take advantage of the new optimized behavior? Yes, the quick way, for example, you can use the migration framework, which created by Edson. Because when you are seeing recompilation, and we are seeing recompilation, it actually means the following: get the sources from the RDB source field, something, and create the object, recreate, do alter, procedure, and so on. So this is so-called also recompilation. And it means that you need to assemble the source code, because source code is not always, in good condition. There could be some line breaks, some things which do not help in this like a simpler procedure. But if you can take a look on the migration framework, which is a paid tool, but it has the full trial for the one migration until the success. You can use it for verify your metadata and after that migrate. I'm not sure is it quick or not quick. I know that maybe some commercial tools also have this, but you also use the ISQL -6 -i and cut off these alter paths for alter procedures and alter triggers. It will also work. And, well, for me it's easy. For many people, like to have specifically guide, but many people like to use command line tools like SQL and so on. Okay. More questions. Peter is asking. I also have an unrelated question. What do you consider a small, medium, and large database in the world of filing? The large, I would say, on the example of our customers, large is more than 1 terabyte. So if you have 1 terabyte, it is certainly large. We have several customers with 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and up to 4 terabytes. It's really big. It's difficult to. Not difficult. It's expensive, let's say, to buy the hardware for them and plan all the things for them, because definitely it's pretty big. So medium, it's between like 100 to 1 terabyte. This all can be called medium because the difference on the speed will depend on the hardware. If you have a really top server with the high-speed components, high-speed CPU, RAM, and NVMe disks, or even Fusion IO, something like this, Optan, it will, scale really good, really better. And then you can start, for example, 100 gigabytes with SATA SSD, consumer, some kind of AMD with 8 cores, and for terabyte you will need like some enterprise SSD and NVMe, some top CPUs. Then less than 100 we can consider small. Why it is small? Because it can be treated like a small database. From 10 to 100 with relatively good hardware, you can treat it like a small database. You can do backup and restore pretty fast, especially using the parallel thread technology and so on. So, but of course, after 100 gigabytes, you need to take care of your databases more carefully because, all we started with small databases, but we eventually grow, and at some moment, as I said, 100 gigabytes and more is this medium database. We're still using IBO console in our support department. Will it still work? Well, IBO console, I think it's open source too, right? So you can even take a look on it and try to adapt for. I mean, your question is, will it work when you will change the data type compatibility? I think not, because IBO console, I think it built on the old version of IBO objects. Well, maybe you can just, write email to Jason Bartle to ibobjects.com and ask what is his plan about it, maybe about support on GitHub if it's idea and so on. Thank you. I'm very happy with the answers. Thank you too. We are also really glad to receive so many, good questions, reasonable questions. Did I understand you correctly that BDE will still work in version 5? Does it demand Firebird? Yes. So you can use the application with BDE. You can do the following: configure your BDE alias with the FB client from 2.5, and in this case, the BDE will work like with version 2.5, and you are sure that BDE works with 2.5, right? So it will work in the same way through the data type compatibility, of course, and with on-connect trigger build with old applications with BDE will work with the new Firebird 5. There could be some really tricky incompatibility, but until now I did not see it. And the application which we migrated, it worked with Firebird 5. Why not?
For sure, when you say that it works, it's not the same meaning that work fast.
Well, yeah, of course, it's, because when you are using a big client DLL from 2.5, it uses the lower level of network protocol, and where could be some artifacts and so on. But in general, it should work at least like in 2.5 in terms of network performance. But on the plans, SQL plans, it will use the new engine because it's all on the Firebird side, on the server side, and it will just work. Try it. Edson, do you receive any maybe errors from those who were not able to send questions to the YouTube chat?
Just one,
Because
but let me see here.
Let me see. I see the question. Live chat. Martin. Hello, Martin. How are you? Yes, the question: is there an advice regarding the combination of client libs, FB client, and FB5 server version? Of course, it's always a good idea to use the latest FB client and the latest Firebird 5. But of course, the components like BDE, for example, will not all components understands the all types and all calls into the FB client. And in this case, you can choose according your previous version of DLL. For example, if you are BDE, the minimum you need to use FB client 2.5. If you are on Firebird 3 and you have some specifics which are too different between 3 and 5, it can be a force, like the restriction to keep the Firebird 3 client. But one thing about the FB client, because when the people are doing the migration, it is very often that they see that they not even use the via 2.5 client from 2.5, but they use client from 1.5, from 2.0, or some old clients. Also in the compatibility mode, so compatibility of compatibility, and these clients, these old clients like 1.5, they can lead to really really bad problems like disconnects, and not like increased number of disconnects 154, famous spam and Firebird log, but also the disconnects of applications which will be look not good. So when you are migrating, make sure that you are staying on the latest 2.5 or latest 3.0 if you are migrating. Do you want to add something?
No, that's all.
Yes. So there are some comments. One thing is Firebird server working best with Firebird 2.5 DLL files. Well, I don't know what does it mean working best, but definitely, many people underestimate the importance of changes in Firebird client, because there are several even reported bugs in version 3, for example, 4, when you need to change from old FB client like 3.0.3, let's say, to 3.0.11 or 3.0.10 to get it fixed due to some things which are on protocol level, network level, and something like this. So of course, I saw this really strange situations when the old version of Firebird 2.5 worked, but 2.9, 259 crashed on the same code, and it was necessary to do some fix and so on. But in general, the recommendation is to keep on the latest minor version. It doesn't require to do backup and restore between minor versions. So you just update binaries, update your clients, and enjoy the increased stability, increased consistency. So something else, guys. So we are more than 1 hour on air. Started a bit slower, but after that we had a lot of interesting questions. Thank you, Peter. Thank you all. It was really nice. I think we should maintain this format. And if nobody has questions for the moment, I think we need to wrap up. What do you think, Edson?
I think so. And just remembering that this is a season called Firebird Essentials, and we have this is an event called Firebird Essentials. We have 4 seasons. The first one is this about migration, which is very important for having performance. And we are going to talk about security, transactions, garbage, and performance. And this is I think all the points you need to see to have a good experience with a great experience with Firebird. So this is, in my opinion, a very good
Yes.
experience.
Yes, yes. So we will try to deliver you with the best practices, best and fast practices. So this is our, there is a fast and furious, and we have best and fast. So thank you everybody for participation. It was a pleasure. I hope you liked the webinar, the presentation. Stay tuned for the new episodes, new seasons of the Firebird Essentials. Thank you. Thank you, Edson, too, for participation. You made a big part of work, and of course, it was really useful. And thank you.
Thank you. I really thank you about the invitation to be here. It's a very good experience for me, and thank you all to be here asking some questions, and this is very important for me too.
Okay, great. And thank you, guys. See you soon.
See you soon.